Well, you have arrived at episode 3 of Launch Title Madness. In the prior episode, we saw Fusion Frenzy take out everyone's beloved Nintendo Land, and we also saw Sonic Adventure run roughshod over the little dirt bike boy in Excite Bike for the NES. In today's episode, we are gonna see Halo. Oh yeah, that's right, Xbox's Halo versus Xbox 360's Call of Duty 2, and Super Mario Bros. From the NES against Pilot Wings. Saddle up, ladies and gents, it is time. Oh yeah, it's time for episode 3 of Launch Title Madness.
Welcome to Gaming Off the Grid. Boom shakalaka!
Welcome back to Launch Title Madness. You already heard the intro, but it is episode 3 of this really fun endeavor. This is season 2 of our Madness series. We did Console Madness way back when. It wasn't really way back. It was in 2020. We'll put a link to that whole playlist
it was really
in the
fun.
description below. It was a lot of fun, and you guys wanted more. And in Launch Title Madness, things have changed a little bit because you guys picked the games, and then we're taking it from there. So in today's episode, you guys already know, we have Halo against Call of Duty 2. And that was the Call of Duty 2 on Xbox 360.
Yes.
It was a 360 launch title. And we have Super Mario Bros. From the NES versus the Super Nintendo's Pilot Wings. This is going to be a lot of fun.
This is going to be fun. Let's start with the shooters. Let's start with Halo versus Call of Duty 2. Okay. I think this is going to be an easy one.
Yeah, it is, but before we really come to a final verdict, we got to take a look at these two brawlers. A notable launch title for the Xbox 360, Call of Duty 2, developed by Infinity Ward, brought first-person shooter fans onto the battlefield in a World War II setting. The Call of Duty series didn't gain its traction until the modern warfare era of the game, but Call of Duty 2 still stands as an exceptional first-person shooter on the Xbox 360. Does it have enough fuel in the tank? Does it have enough World War II vibes to propel this launch title into the next round of Launch Title Madness? You're gonna have to stay tuned.
Halo Combat Evolved, or simply known as Halo, was released for the OG Xbox in 2001. Halo is a first-person shooter and is often praised as one of the greatest video games of all time. Can this epic start to an amazing franchise stand on its own in Launch Title Madness? Let's find out.
All right, so now we know a little bit about the games, a little bit of the history, whatnot. Call of Duty 2, this was before Call of Duty kind of became what a lot of you folks watching might think of as Call of Duty. At this time, Call of Duty, I think, was kind of in the same conversation with like a Medal of Honor game.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It wasn't that big online yearly annual release game that everyone had to play. Now, I do believe Call of Duty 2 was made by Infinity Ward,
Yes,
so they were starting to get traction in that direction. But it wasn't until, I think, Modern Warfare where
things really
it became like that sweeping the nation type of game.
And this was before they invented zombies. Like, this is just... It's taking place in World War II, which the game is fun.
It is.
But it's kind of dated. But I can say the same thing about Halo. When you go back and play the original Halo, it's kind of dated as well. But I think Halo has to win.
I mean, I think it's hard to not think that Halo's got an outside shot of winning this whole thing. Talk about a game changer.
Yeah, for launching Microsoft's first console and Halo, one of the biggest games ever, they were like, boom,
yeah,
bring it on.
It just really put them on the map. And Halo, man, it went from... You got to go back to the time and understand, Microsoft was not on the console scene.
Yeah.
And in the blink of an eye, everyone was going over to friends' houses to play Halo. And it was a cultural phenomenon, that game was, and Halo 2, and it just has continued to grow. I think Halo's probably as strong today as it ever was. But wow, the cultural movement there, where literally in the blink of an eye, everyone's playing a game, and everyone's wanting to go to LAN parties and all this stuff.
Yeah. Everyone wants it.
This is just an ass whipping here.
Yeah, Call of Duty 2 did not even stand a chance.
Yeah.
But we had to make it look kind of fair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I'm not shitting on Call of Duty 2, but that's just the elephant in the room. Freaking Halo. I mean, you don't get much better for a launch title, and then to just really launch your console. That's like, God, that's as close as launching, Nintendo with Super Mario Bros. I mean, Halo changed the game.
Yeah, it really
Wow.
did. Dude, and speaking of what you just said, Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next matchup. We
Yeah.
got Super Mario Bros. On the NES versus Pilot Wings on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Let's look at these fights.
How did Pilot Wings arrive into launch title madness? Mode 7, anyone? Pilot Wings showcased the abilities of Mode 7 on the Super Nintendo in epic fashion. Pilot Wings serves as an amateur flight simulator as the player attempts to earn their pilot's license through various levels of Pilot Wings. Rumor has it that back in the early 90s, if you could beat Pilot Wings, well, Nintendo would mail you a pilot license and you could fly a real plane. I mean, that's not true, but it's fun to think about, isn't it? Does Pilot Wings have enough to advance in launch title madness? I just see it. Let's just move on.
The successor to the 1983 arcade game Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. Was released in 1985 with the NES. Super Mario Bros. Follows the story of Mario and his brother Luigi as they travel through Mushroom Kingdom trying to save Princess Peach. Super Mario Bros. Is cited as one of the greatest video games of all time, and is one of the best-selling video games of all time, with 50 million copies sold worldwide. Can this pop culture icon save the princess in time, or will it fall short in launch title madness? Let's find out.
All right, two what I would consider lopsided matchups here.
Yes, this is not even fair.
And now this bracket's going to get a lot more crazy as we go on, but I think you'd have to be freaking insane to give Pilot Wings the nod here. I mean, Super Mario
Wait,
Bros.
you want to pick Super Mario Bros?
I mean,
I was leaning towards Pilot Wings.
no, you weren't.
That was
it was
Pilot Wings.
It's cool. It almost was kind of, in my mind, it's weird to call it a tech demo, but I think it really shows off what the Super Nintendo could do with, like the FX chip and kind of its 3D capabilities. Kind of 3D capabilities.
I think when it launched,
Yeah.
I think it was, oh, this is freaking badass. But man, you can't fight against Super Mario Bros. That was one of the first games I ever played. That launched the NES.
Oh, into the stratosphere. I mean,
oh my god, dude.
there's probably just not more of an iconic video game than the first Super Mario Bros. And it's really frustrating to me that Super Mario Bros. Kind of gets dumped on a lot by the retro game community, as far as I still think it's one of the best Mario games ever made, and it's just a game that I beat on the weekly or bi-weekly at the very least. I love the game. The game is perfect.
It's a perfect game.
Yeah, and not saying that 2 and 3 aren't, but man, Super Mario Bros. There's nothing wrong with it. And when you put it in,
It looks so good.
the construct of the NES games that were out at the time, I mean, it's like head and shoulders above what was going on.
Yeah, because the other launch title that won for the NES was Excite Bike.
Yeah.
Which is, we talked about that in the last episode. That game's fun, but
It's not
Super
even close.
Mario Bros. Oh my god.
I had some
What an
neighbors,
icon.
to get to kind of speak a little bit more about Pilot Wings. I had some neighbors that got a Super Nintendo, and I didn't get a Super Nintendo until the mid to late 90s, really. But I had some neighbors that got it right when it came out, and our parents were friends and everything, so we got to spend a lot of time. They were older than us, so they would babysit my brother and I. So we got to play a lot of Super Nintendo. They had Super Mario World, and they had Pilot Wings.
Cool.
Pilot Wings was like a game we put on like 2 or 3 times, and it was just like, oh, cool, but let's play Super Mario.
Yes.
It was not...
You play it for a couple minutes and you go, okay, I get it.
It wasn't the system seller. The system seller was Super Mario World. So I think Pilot Wings just has an unfair matchup here. But, these first round episodes, we're going to have a little bit of this. There are going to be some tough ones. But when this gets down to the nitty gritty,
Oh my God.
it's going to be really tough.
It's going to be so hard because a lot of the games that we've already mentioned, like Mario Bros., Super Mario World, all amazing launch titles, how do you pick which one's better?
Yeah,
which we'll have to do eventually.
And we're not to the next round. We're still going through the first pane of the bracket. But guys, moving on in round 2 of this whole thing, it's going to be Super Mario Bros. Versus Halo. I mean, think about that matchup. It's going to be crazy.
I don't even want to think about that.
So I mean, obviously, you guys already know. But moving on is Halo for the original Xbox and Super Mario Bros. From the NES. I think worthy winners in this episode. It was kind of a landslide. The first 2 episodes didn't have maybe that much of a landslide
Yeah,
to it.
this one was just like, oh, you looked at it, boom, I know exactly who's going to win.
But it's just the way the bracket shakes out.
And
So,
it random generated.
way the cookie crumbles.
Speaking of crumbling, what do you think of this beer by
Yeah.
Dogfish Head? This is the Hazy O. It's a hazy IPA that comes in at 7%.
So, man, you remember, like, was it 2 years ago probably, Dogfish Head started becoming distributed in our area.
Yes.
And on the beer scene, it was a big deal. Like, man, we've got Dogfish Head. I've yet to have a beer from them that gets me super excited. Maybe the Sequence Ale.
Sequence Ale is one of the best summer beers ever.
But, man, this is not a bad beer. This is a good hazy IPA, but I'm waiting for Dogfish Head to knock my freaking socks off, and it was a big deal when they got here, and they're here, and I'm not super excited.
This beer it's fine, it's good, it's enjoyable, it's middle of the road. It's not the best hazy IPA I've had, but it's not too over IPA taste. You know, it's just right in the middle. But I think what might be affecting Dogfish Head's quality is, didn't Sam Adams buy them out like a year ago?
You know, now that you mention it, I don't know the details of it, but I remember
I
we were talking with Joe about that.
I think they bought them out, but they were like, you can keep your name and still distribute your beers, but we own you.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of Sam Adams beer now, which is also just middle
What
of the
happens
road.
when you sell out to the big corporations?
But I mean, I love Dogfish Head's can art all the time. Their art's so cool. If I was sitting outside on a hot summer day, this would be great.
This is not a bad
But
hazy IPA.
It's just very average.
I guess part of my, I wouldn't say displeasure, but part of my negative viewpoint is I just was so excited, and all these craft beer connoisseurs in our area was like, oh, you guys finally got Dogfish Head. You're gonna enjoy Dogfish Head. And they've got one beer that's, I would say, pretty good, and then all the other ones I've had they're not bad. Never had one that was a complete stinker, wasn't a turd in the punch bowl, but I also haven't had the one that took me to that point where it's like, wow, that's a 10 out of 10. That's a dinger. This beer's okay. It's a good hazy IPA. I think this would be a good hazy IPA for folks who maybe are like, I don't like hops, I don't like IPAs. This is pretty palatable.
Yeah, it's very just simple. It's just straight to the point. It's a good introduction beer, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that's what Dogfish Head and kind of Sam Adams is. It's like an introduction to craft beer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I want to get into craft beer. Let me start with this easy drinker.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's a wrap on episode 3. I hope you guys are enjoying the miniseries. We're having a lot of fun with it.
A lot of stress.
I think our worst or most stressful days are yet to come as I'm looking forward into the subsequent rounds that lie before us. I don't know how we're going to decide, but we're going to have to figure it out. We're going to have to get to the nitty gritty, and I'm just looking ahead at that Super Mario Bros. And Halo matchup. I don't even want to go there.
No,
I don't even want to go there.
No matter what we pick, people are going to get pissed off.
I'm glad we've got a fistful of episodes before we get to that point. Wow. Don't even want to go there. I want to stay on the positive, stress-free train that we're riding on right now. So anyways, guys, hope you guys are enjoying this. We're having a lot of fun, and we always appreciate you tuning in to Launch Title Madness right here on Gaming Off the Grid. Let me tell you something.